Hey there. Thanks for joining me today. I got a very, very special guest, a member of Collective Soul. This is my fourth Collective Soul podcast, Collective Soul related podcast. This is Will Turpin, the bassist for Collective Soul. And we talked to him I'm going to guess, he's in Jonesboro, Georgia. Here we go.
What's up?
Hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me. I know it's a very busy day, I'm sure, down at the studio. I live not too far from Tree Sound Studios, and I know
Okay.
that's been a part of the Collective Soul story as well. As I was watching
Yeah,
this
man.
wonderful documentary, and you had some people who've worked over there at Tree Sound, and I believe it was Dosage, the album in 1999 that they were working on over there.
Yeah, the dosage was that was one of the first records through there. There was a lot of stuff not even built yet at Tree. I remember helping Paul. If you go in the lobby of Tree Studios, there's a big tree in the lobby. I remember we all helped. We had a winch and we helped get that in there. And yeah, so we were there right in the early days and did
Yeah,
some work over the years at Tree.
yeah, great place, and I'm sure a welcoming environment. It's just
Yeah.
exciting to have them in it, and for all these years to be in the neighborhood over here. It's just been fantastic. I knows I drive by there, I run by there, and I see a lot of activity happening out there. So it's just awesome. And Sir Elton John had recorded there as well.
Elton recorded a song with Collective Soul.
That's so
So
awesome. That's just
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I remember talking with that, and it was like, wow, that must have been like completely surreal. Here you are, these many years later, and like this icon is working with y'all.
Yeah. It's because he was in Atlanta and he befriended us. He liked our music. So what a gift, man. What a gift.
Yeah, that's total kismet. And speaking of that, just like how have you fallen into this business and you're at the studio that your dad had started way back in 1976.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All the things that we're connected to. We need to do a whole podcast on the spider web of things Collective Soul is connected to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's just like it keeps creeping into things and just you're in the right place at the right time, which is this old saying that's always mentioned. But it's pure raw talent as well. But there's so much talent out there. And it's hard for many artists, but what you're doing is that you're giving artists a chance. You got a studio there, people probably fly in and get to do all kinds of projects there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've always had a chance to work with people on the side here and there, but when Collective Soul was busier, I also had three young children. And so between working on my solo stuff, I was barely getting a chance to produce. But I always felt like that was something I wanted to do. And now my kids are all helping me out in the studio. And my oldest son Tristan's on tour with Collective Soul now. He's the piano guy and playing all the string parts. So I've got a lot more time, and I'm able to pour some energy in here, man, and trying to work with as many talented artists as I can.
Yeah, yeah. And just think when that studio had started in Stockbridge, which was a way different Stockbridge in the 70s as compared to now. I've been in the Metro Atlanta region here for decades, and
Yeah.
I've just seen so much change. My gosh, I think we more than doubled the population since I came here. It's incredible. So, I mean,
Oh, for sure.
growing up in Stockbridge, I mean, the way you were mentioning that documentary, it's like, oh, it seemed like this little backwater town that you all grew up in. But wow, it's just like that's not true these days.
Yeah, it was a little slow country town, but it was, literally when you got on the highway, it said like Atlanta 18 miles. So, growing up in the 80s, Metro Atlanta wasn't, you didn't feel like you were in Metro Atlanta if you were in Stockbridge.
Right.
Now you're definitely in Metro Atlanta if you're in Stockbridge. I always tell people I remember this sign. It was right past Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and it was a sign that was old school light bulbs, but it was like counting down the days until we reached 1 million people in Atlanta. 1 million.
Because you had a lot of movers and shakers here. That's why I'm here. I started with Turner Broadcasting back in the day, and that's
Yeah,
what
legend. I mean, that Turner Broadcast, his story is legend.
And you
Uh,
saw that going up. When I was a kid and we had just gotten cable around 1980 and I started watching it, I was like, 24/7 news. Why didn't I think of this thing? This is just amazing. Then I got to know about Ted Turner when I was about 13. And I'm like,
yeah.
wow, who is this guy? What's this Atlanta thing all about? It seems futuristic down there. It was just
Yeah.
amazing. People like that, and you had Coca-Cola and all these other Home
Right.
Depot attracted everybody to come here. So you're one of those few who are like from the metro area.
Yeah,
It's
there's not many that really saw all the growth that we did. But and and it's the good and the bad. You mentioned all the innovation and all the companies, but man, this city can't. I mean, there's just no way you can keep up with that kind of growth, and it's still going on today. As far as how fast Atlanta's growing per capita, percentage wise, we're still growing almost at the same percentage rate.
it's a victim of its own success because you know how
Yeah.
hard it is to
Well,
get around
there's
here.
always going to be positives and negatives to all that.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. But it's all been amazing. And then the Olympics and all these World Series and even appearing in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. It's incredible all the stuff I've seen all these years. But Collective
Yeah.
Soul and seeing how that had grown in the 90s and your story, like again, Give Me a Word is a fantastic documentary. Joseph Rubinstein is your director for that.
Yeah.
And very well edited because I'm a video editor by trade and producer. So I'm just like impressed how this story has come together and all the things you included in that documentary, or Joseph included.
Yeah. Joseph did a great job. We call him Joe. I guess he wanted his official name on the documentary.
Yeah,
But Joe, Joe did a
for
great
sure.
job. He was able to ride the line between being, just a fly on the wall and trying to capture great moments to every now and then directing us and telling us what we need. And, we're going to go for this here, go for that there. But yeah, Phonetics, the production company, they did a great job, came in at the right time. We had started trying to collect archival footage. We had started some interviews with a friend of ours in Atlanta, Mill Cannon. Uh, but we soon realized we're not a production company and we needed help. And they came in right at the right time and were really excited about the project. And we had, as far as doing some of the groundwork, we had probably taken that groundwork, halfway down the road for them already. And then once Joe got involved, and the idea was, okay, we're going to be in Palm Springs at Elvis's house. Let's make this documentary not just a history lesson, a boring history lesson
Yeah.
about, I guess it's not boring. It is a beautiful small town story, but we intertwined the workings of a real band that's out there still trying to record records and still creating, still doing what we love 30 years later. It started kind of there, and then we rewind and we talk about how did we get here today. And so that whole twist came about when Joseph got involved, and that I feel really proud about that. And yeah, I agree with the editing and stuff too. I didn't know how he was going to put the story together, but the first cut I saw, I knew that it was going to be a good piece.
Yeah, and just like every rock and roll story, there's always something about the manager. Like, Elvis had Colonel Tom Parker, and you guys
Yeah,
had and it's like you hear this all the time, and it's like, wait a minute, we didn't make a dime off all these huge hits. It's like this
yeah.
guy was pocketing it, and like then you try to rectify that. It's just I like how that's told throughout the documentary or in that section, and how Ed reacted to that. It's just very emotional too.
Yeah, we tried to approach all those, the highs and the lows, whether it was with ex-band members that were, our friends growing up, to managers or, we tried to approach all that with the type of grace that realizes that, we can't get to this spot without having some of those other spots. So it's not just about trashing everybody or trying to be, trying to say who was right and who was wrong. It's more about telling a story and realizing that, yeah, certain people did things wrong, but there's a way to uh, digest that in a way that makes it feel like, okay, that happened. That's part of our life. But we couldn't have got here without that. So you have to you have to accept that and then move on. And we tried to approach it that way.
Yeah, I think there's that epiphany, maybe not so much of an epiphany, but when you're in your 50s, 60s, you do get to that point where it's like, this isn't worth, I'm not going to trash these people from the past. It's like, I think you do come to this reconciliation, which is, it's good karma too, which helps you push forward. And
Yeah.
seeing your shows, yeah, I've seen you guys twice now in recent years, and an energetic Wonderful show. I love how you end your shows too. It's just really it's like I like how you guys come together in the circle and then exit the stage that way. It's just really just from the highs to those poignant moments. It's just a fantastic live show and that was showcased very well in the documentary.
Yeah, cheers, thanks. We've been contemplating should we end the show differently, and I think it might be a signature way to end the show. I think we should
Yeah.
probably just keep doing it. I know people have seen it over and over, but it really works, and it's a very poignant, meaningful way to end the show. Uh,
Yeah,
so
I think that really works. It really does. I don't know how else you would do it. I mean, you can end on a very energetic tune, but
right,
there's something about that closure for the evening. It's just a moment that it's very hard to describe. You got to go out and see Collective Soul, and you guys had some, huge summer tours just wrapped up. So it must be nice to just be at home, back to the studio, and just have this normal life and not have to be on the road. I'm sure you have plenty of hotel stories and bus stories and planes.
the end of this last summer, we started this. We were having this funny conversation. We were talking about all the things that we've left behind in 30 years, accidentally or otherwise. But we were talking about wouldn't it be great to walk into a room and everything that we have forgotten or left behind in 30 years was in this room. We just
Exactly.
think that'd be so funny because there'd be stuff in there we forgot about, of course. But yeah, after all the years of touring and stuff, it's fun, and we look forward to playing live. And you mentioned the live show. We approach it like a celebration of life with everybody in the room. Not It's not really just us playing music. It's a celebration of the songs, celebration of the memories that are associated with these songs. Um, and we approach it like that as a celebration. But yeah, it's grueling and it's a lot, and we leave a lot of stuff behind. So that's been our funny thing we've been laughing at for the last couple months. Like, what if, you know?
That would be interesting. Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure with Ed, the power lyricist that he is, could probably write songs about that or at least a song. So
Maybe there
yeah.
should be something that is a song there. Like, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
song there. The things we left behind or something like that.
completely.
Get some double
Completely.
entendre in there.
And you yourself have been a solo artist, Serengeti Drivers from 2018. Great album that looked like it took a little bit to get that thing together, but it's a great pop collection,
Yeah,
definitely.
thanks, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm usually on acoustic guitar or on piano when I start some of my solo stuff. I'm working on another one now, and I do have one song that actually started with a cool bass line, but for the most part, my original instrument is piano, and I sit behind piano, and I've got this funky pop side of me that's not quite as rock and roll as the rhythm section guy in Collective Soul. So it's good to get that out, be artistic in a different way, and we've always thought that me, Ed, and Dean have always agreed that like it makes us more powerful to be able to do side projects and be able to do things outside of Collective Soul. It makes Collective Soul more powerful when we come back together. So it's something we all enjoy doing, and we support each other.
And you do play locally here in in the Metro. I've noticed you've appeared in Roswell, Sonoya as we speak as your upcoming
Yeah,
show. So
yeah,
basically, are you doing a lot of your own tunes from that album and then maybe some Collective Soul covers?
yeah. I do a lot of Serengeti Drivers, and then I do a couple songs from an EP I released in 2010, 15 years ago now.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, I do a couple Collective Soul tunes, and they're both different versions. So you'll recognize the songs, but they're very different versions. So it's fun to do, and it's cooler for me to do that instead of try to sound like Collective Soul. That wouldn't be much fun for me, and I don't think it'd be cool for the audience as cool as what I'm doing now. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, you definitely can stand on your own as a solo artist, and it does bring you when you bring it back to the band. So that must be, was it a real collaborative effort doing Here to Eternity? That's the most recent Collective Soul album that you recorded in Palm Springs. Uh, that had to really, you bring that power back to the band. I'm sure you had a lot of input. That's a pretty big album.
Yeah, it was a nice record. We still always just try to let go of anything that's mechanical in our mind or music theory. We try to let go of all that and just create a feel and a vibe. And when we stumble on it, we kind of know what's right. But yeah, we have to work on things for a little bit. Usually we were doing pretty much a song a day. Every now and then we'd get two songs in a day, but until we stumble on the right vibe or the right way to start the song or the right groove with me and Johnny, um, we don't really go further until we stumble on that. Then we like, okay, boom, there's the thing we can follow. We'll follow that vibe right there, and then we'll build around that. And then it happens pretty quick for us once we find that core vibe and feel that we're going for.
Yeah. You came from Fairbanks, Alaska. When did you move to Stockbridge?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was like, I think I was like 16 months old.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I was born in
very
Fairbanks,
young.
Alaska, but I'm a Georgia boy.
Oh, yeah, for sure, through and through. And you went to FSU and GSU, Florida State University and Georgia State
Yeah,
University.
yeah. Both had really
And
cool schools of music, and
cool.
I loved Florida State. It was a little more traditional, a little more symphonic, but I really loved it. I was timpani and concert percussion. I really liked it a lot. But I tell everybody I moved back to Atlanta for a girl and some friends that were in a band, and I'm still married to Donna, and I'm
Wow.
still in the band. So
Wow. How many years now, as we speak, that you've
me
been
and my
with her?
wife have been married. We're only 2 years younger than Collective Soul, so
Yeah.
we'll 30 years this June.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, just to have heard your first single on the radio must have been terrestrial radio, which was a big thing, back then. Now it's like, and, gosh, everybody's all over the place now, every streamer that you could possibly think of. But back then, there's that special moment. I'm sure that had to be like, wow. Do you remember that moment where you heard Collective
Yeah,
Soul?
there's the story of us driving down to Orlando because the first commercial station to play our song was a radio station in Orlando.
Mm.
Um, Album 88 in Atlanta had
Oh,
started
that was
playing it,
great.
and they were getting phone calls off the hook, but nobody commercial was had picked it up in Atlanta. 99X would have been soon to add it, but the first one was Orlando, and we drove down to do a show in Orlando, and we heard it on the radio, and yeah, that was a big, very big moment. We heard it on the radio, all in a van, and yeah, man, that was a really good moment. But that was a definite stepping stone and a moment where we thought, okay, there's that. Now what's next? And we kind of lived, we still live that way. What's next?
Yeah, and that kind of gets covered in the documentary about how Album 88, which was back then, just like would break these artists and people would come in with their actual
People would listen
tapes.
to Album 88. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It gave people a chance back then. And, you can come in and yeah, DJ would say, "Hey, let's do this." But it had to be pure magic. And then years later, the single Shine is covered by Dolly Parton of all people, just because
right,
her husband was very much into pop music at that moment.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's another connection. Is that song becomes Dolly Parton's husband's favorite song, and she dedicates it to him and records a version and gets Grammy for vocal performance of the year.
Yeah.
So
Well, it is tough to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's quite political. I remember talking to Huey Lewis years ago. I was like, "Gosh, can't you guys even be considered?" It was like that requirement since your first record came out that you had to be out so long, and you definitely with you guys, it's definitely there, but it's so political. But it should be definitely a part of rock history, and let's hope one day. But yeah, it's tough to get in
yeah,
there,
I
I'm
would
sure.
I would be honored, but it's nothing we think about. I see the commercials for the performance that's coming up this weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
Soundgarden's getting inducted and White Stripes. Uh, but it's nothing we think about a whole lot. But I'm sure you can make a case for Collective Soul. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of our culture. It's part of the American fabric. It really is. I mean, now it's appearing in commercials too. Yeah, the Amazon commercial, and down here in Atlanta area, the Truist Bank has been using some of Shine. So it's just kind of interesting to see that, it really does. It's not about selling out, really. It's we relate to it. And you
Yeah.
remember when you first heard Shine, wherever you were. I mean, it's one of those things. It's a riff that you had never heard before. It's just something that was, incredibly groundbreaking.
Yeah, the way it went down, it's I think that was there was something to it. It was kind of considered a demo. We considered it a demo a little bit, and we thought if we got signed to Atlantic Records, we'd re-record it. And Atlantic was like, "No, no, we're not re-recording this." And then our rebuttal to that was, "Well, okay, well, you got to let us go back in the studio as soon as possible, and then you're going to release a record for us a year later, right?" And they said, "Okay," and the blue record was out 1 year after that red record, and both of them had rock songs of the year on each one of those records. December in '95 became rock song of the year that summer, and the year before that, Shine was rock song of the year. But I think if we would have re-recorded Shine, I don't think it would have had the impact. We would have changed the tonality a little bit just just by virtue of re-recording it. Nothing's going to be exactly the same. Um, and it didn't sound like anything else by the way it was recorded. It was kind of recorded more as a demo. But that's what made it sound like totally different than anything else that was on the radio. So it's crazy how that comes together like that.
And what's also noted in the documentary is how you all went independent, which was before, a lot of people were doing that in the early 2000s. That was a really tricky thing. You didn't have all this fancy technology that we have now that helps
Right.
people much easier become independent. And it was
Mm.
great that you included, the folks who've helped you go along that route. And you've been creating ever since, even, well beyond that
Yeah.
7-year edge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that we just felt like there was a little bit of a leap of faith, but somewhere we felt pretty confident about our decision. And it wasn't like we made our own label or we were the independent label. We got lucky enough to meet with some professionals that knew exactly what they were doing. Fred Crochelle, and without Fred, you know, I don't know if there would have been somebody else that could have done it like he did it. I'm pretty sure there's nobody else that would have been able to do it like he did it. So yeah, we went gold on an independent label. We sold 500,000 copies on an independent label and had some hits on that record. Um, so yeah, that was a big leap of faith, and yeah, I think the documentary would have been remiss if we wouldn't have made sure people remembered that because now it's so easy to be independent. But
Exactly. Yeah.
it was
People have
different
their
back
own,
then.
yeah, their own studios and stuff, but nothing like reel-to-reel studios where you can get master engineers in there and can work on your project and probably have an amazing sound, I'm sure.
Little bit of history on the walls too. But yeah, man, this room's great, man. It's a great room. And
Yeah.
there's technically two studios in here. It's a really cool setup.
Nice. And you're doing what you love. I mean, that's the whole thing. And it's so inspiring to talk with folks like you. It's just you've really just whether it's fame or not, it's not about that and the money and all that stuff. It's just really the passion. And not everybody really gets to do that. So it's really inspiring to see that for sure. And
Yeah, I feel, very blessed and lucky to be able to make music and perform live with my friends still. We still get that feeling when we're playing live in front of people. We still get excited. So I'm blessed.
it's a faithful audience. I've noticed that both times I've seen you. It's just you definitely pack it at Ameris Bank Amphitheater up here in Alpharetta, and definitely the crowd loves it. You usually co-headline. Last time was
Yeah.
with live. It's just really awesome to see you all, and mixing it up with people like Edwin McCain, who's just a
Yeah.
wonderful
Good
guy.
buddy. A good
Yeah.
friend. Matter of fact, Edwin's doing we're doing 3 nights at the Venetian in Vegas, and Edwin
Cool.
McCain's going to be our special guest for that also. So that's the very end of January, first weekend in February. Um, we're trying to see if we can't, maybe one day build up to where we can actually have a real residency. I don't know if 3 nights counts as a residency, but
Hmm.
we're trying to get there.
Close, yeah. Almost getting to Elvis's level, but yeah, that's fantastic. You'll get there. Love it. I love how that was included in the documentary, and then also seeing the whole Elvis, that fake Elvis walking by and by the chapel and everything. It's just
Yeah.
check it out. Yeah, definitely. And it's on Amazon Prime or wherever you get your
Prime,
videos.
Apple. If you search Collective Soul documentary, it pops up. But you've already mentioned it a couple times. It's titled "Give Me a Word." The
Sweet.
first line from Sean. You know.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Love seeing you guys in concert. It must be real surreal when that camera hits you in the show. It's like, you're up on the big screen. You never thought, like, back in the day, they didn't even have video crews. But like
Right.
these days, everybody's face gets up on there. It must be like, you must feel 20 feet tall when you're up there and they mention you.
It's fun. We love it. We love the amphitheater summers, and we like playing the theaters too. Our crowd. You mentioned our crowd. They're very they know the songs. I don't think there's a
Oh, yeah.
single Collective Soul song. There's no deep cut we could play that 80% of the crowd wouldn't know. And
Yeah.
it makes it feel real good.
Good. Are you guys gonna head back into the studio as a group in the next year or so, or just
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna at
exit
least
home?
start something new. We got a record we recorded last fall that'll be out this spring. So
Oh, cool.
we got another one coming out this spring. So
Great to
not
see you.
slowing
Yeah.
down anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah. It's really good to hear. And then not just being a legacy artist and rehashing the hits. It's great that you're still creating and making new music videos too. I love Mother's Love video. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah.
Have a good one. Yeah. And have a good show this weekend as we speak. They're in Sonoya, Georgia, where I believe they have recorded the Walking Dead program.
Famous for The
Uh,
Walking Dead. Yeah,
yeah,
the whole you'll if you just go there now, you'll still recognize some of the Walking Dead stuff. It's not like they tore it down, but
so cool.
yeah, the neighborhood they lived in is right there. And then Woodbury was Main Street Sonoya. If you remember when the governor was part of The Walking Dead, that's all
Yeah.
Main Street Sonoya. Um, so yeah, man, it's a tiny little pocket of cool little spot where you can walk around restaurants and shops, and not quite as busy as the north side.
Yeah.
I got a little more space down here, and I'm close to the airport.
Yeah, that's a great advantage, especially with your
I know,
studio.
especially when you fly all the time. It's a real advantage.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, so much, so great to have you stop by, and
Yeah,
thank you so
cheers.
much
Thanks for
for your
having me,
time.
man.
Have a good one. Take care. Have a great rest of 2025 and touring again in 2026.
Right on. Same to you, man. Have a great one. See you
See you.
next time.
Take care. Bye bye.